morning, friends. Welcome to Go Long, a show that focuses on local sports and faith, includes thought-provoking interviews with area coaches, players, and sports figures, unashamed Bible discussion, and the popular, it's entertaining, the WOYK scoreboard. I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B.
Good morning.
Doggy Becky B. Good morning. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for being with us, because we've got a dandy with us this morning. The splendid Spartan himself, Scott Geis with the York College Spartan Sports Update. Gosh, we have a lot to talk about. That boys basketball team ended such a great way in the NCAA tournament. Coach Betsy Whitman announced her retirement, and all the spring sports have kicked off at York College. Goodness, it'll be great to talk to the splendid Spartan. Also, Becky B., the coach of the York Tech Spartans bowling team.
We have a lot of Spartans today, don't we?
I didn't think about that. It is the day of the Spartans.
All right. Well, these Spartans ended up in fourth place for the entire state of Pennsylvania.
That's wonderful.
In bowling.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah. Zach Schaff. I can't wait to chat with him. He teaches this unique two-hand bowling style. I want to chat with him a little bit about that. It's going to get me from about an average of 100 up to about 105, I think. As Paul addressed believers in Rome and explained his mission in the book of Romans, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes. Today, our Go Long topic, what does the Bible say about naysayers? I thought about this week when I was watching the NCAA tournament, and quite a few interviews at the end, people were saying they counted us out. People said we couldn't do it, and that motivated us, So I'm thinking, all right, what does the Bible say about naysayers? Because sometimes it motivates us, and sometimes it tears us down, right?
That is true.
All righty, throughout the week and during today's show, please text your prayer request to 717-350-8591. Becky B will close today in prayer as she does every Sunday, and we will pray for all those requests. It's red hot, it's downtown Ollie Brown. Grab the mustard, because this is the Grand Salami, a faith-based sports radio show brought to you by Sports Radio 98.9 FM, 1350 WOYK, first in York and first in York. And our friend Kelsey Jean at Red Barn Home Decors, where home staging makes dollars and cents. All right, then, you wanted it, you asked for it, you're going to get it. This is the WOYK scoreboard. We're about ready to kick this thing off, but you know what kicks off this week, Becky B?
What kicks off this
Thursday,
week?
The Orioles, the Phillies, and the Pirates. It is opening days. Pick up the bat, swing it, grab the mustard, because it is. It's
As
time.
if you are not already just totally clued into all the March Madness.
Wow.
They have to throw an opening day yet, too. Holy!
Isn't that great? Alrighty. Scott Geis, he's a Cleveland Indian guy. I want to hear his thoughts on the Indians a little bit later on as well. So, a lot to talk about with the splendid Spartan. Here's your opening day quiz question of the day.
Okay, what's
Who hit Major League history? Who hit the most opening day home runs of all time? The most. We'll talk with Scott Geis about this. Well, no, this is a player, but...
Oh, a player!
But he played most of his career with the Orioles, yes.
He played most of his career with the Orioles.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Frank Robinson. Eight opening day dinger-dongers. How about
Frank
that?
hit a lot of dinger-dongers anyway, yes.
Absolutely. All righty, let's go on to high school sports here in the York Adams League. In the Go Long baseball game of the week, it was the Kennedale Rams. They opened up their play with a 6-5 win over the Bermudian Springs Eagles. The Fawn Grove boys led this one by a score of 6-1, going into the top of the seventh. But as the Bermudian turned their caps around, they rallied for 4 runs. One is the loneliest number, shy of tying this thing up. Final score, Kennedale, the Rams 6, Bermudian Springs, the Eagles 5. That was a dandy.
Oh, yes, for the Fawn Grove boys, 6'2" sophomore Avery Chenoweth stepped up to the plate and delivered a 2-for-3 day at the office. More importantly, he drove in 4 runs for the Rams.
Yeah.
Still for Kennedale, senior Ryan Pinzowski started and twirled the first 5 innings, allowing just 1 run on 2 hits. Perzanowski whiffed 10 batters in those first 5 innings to book the W.
Yeah, he was a tremendous basketball player for Coach Stifler's Kennerdale Rams as well. Was Perzanowski.
He's just an athlete.
He was an athlete. All right, for Bermudian senior Nate Keller blasted a 2-run ding-dong. The Witches dead dinger in the 7th. And Lane Hubbard once again proved the cupboard is not bare as he whipped a pair of base knocks and swiped 4 bases.
He's quick, huh?
That's how I go to the cupboard, swiping stuff all the time.
All right, then on Friday, Kennerdale hosted the Trinity Shamrocks in a non-league affair and fell 9-5 at home. And Bermudian opened up York Adams Division III play with a 20-9 win over Fairfield.
All right, here's some other scores from Friday. The Bermudian Springs improved to 2 wins, 1 loss as they ant-nellied Fairfield by a score of 20-9. That's 20 runs is a lot of runs.
That's a lot of runs.
Goodness, well, 29 total in that game.
Yes.
Biglerville picked up win number 1 with a 10-3 win over York Catholic. The win for the boys from the Apple capital of the world. The Central York Panthers improved to 1-1 as they hung 21 runs on the board. It was Central York 21, York High Bearcats 10.
There's 31 runs in that game.
Yikes. All right, Dallastown, here's a more baseball-like score. In 8 innings, this was extra play. Dallastown picked up their first W with a win over the Stangs of Southwestern 4-3. Susquehannock blanked Dover 8-0 as they pick up their win number 2. West York 4 to Eastern York 2 as West York stays unblemished at 2-0. Littlestown 3, Hanover 2. Littlestown's first win of the season. The Kennerdale Rams picked up their first win. They fall to Trinity, the Shamrocks, 9-5. It was New Oxford 15 over York Suburban 1. Redline 10 over Spring Grove. The Papertown boys were blanked as Redline wins 10-0. Most people pick Redline to win that Division 1. We'll see. It'll be nice to talk to Coach Lawrence later on throughout the season here. And how about those York Tech Spartans? They went over DeLone Catholic by a score of 4-2 on Friday. How about that? Would you pick that, Becky B?
I think I would have been a little surprised with that one.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
Good job.
In the Go Long softball game of the week, the Southwestern Mustangs gave a sneak preview of what to expect from them this season as they blew out the Battlefield Girls of Gettysburg by a score of 15-0. And in case you were keeping score at home, it took the Stangs only 4 innings to hang 15 runs on the scoreboard, highlighted by a 10-run bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, you might say that was an Aunt Nellie grab him by the ear, drag him out behind the woodshed, and give him a good old-fashioned whooping game of the week. You got to think, Becky B, Southwestern's got a few more of those whoopings in their season this year, right?
I would think so, yep.
Yeah. Well,
they have an ace on the place.
Well, you're right. Guess who that is? For the Stangs, it was senior Jada Kuntz who led this pounding as Jada stepped in the circle and twirled a 4-inning shutout, giving up just 1 hit, booking 8 Ks along the way. And you know what? Just in case that's not enough, Jada Kuntz also with a pair of base knocks, including a step up to the plate, take a rip, and a 3-run moonshot. She also, Jada Kuntz, 4 sweet ribbies to boot. How about that?
Oh, yes, that's Jada for you.
More of that coming along this year, right?
Okay, and still for the Stangs, Adriana Gonzalez banged out 3 hits, including a moonshot and 3 ribbies. Olivia Bateman and Kate Lilly, each with 3 hits for the Stangs.
Alrighty, other scores from the 60-foot diamond on Friday featuring York Adams team, the Bermudian Springs Eagles over Fairfield 8-1. How about this shellacking? The girls from the Apple capital of the world over York Catholic as Biglerville wins 19-1. It was Central York, the Panthers over York High Bearcats 15-0 in a close one. The Southwestern Stangs that we talked about already now 2-0 as they beat Dallastown 4-3. Susquehannock over Dover 5-1. Eastern York over West York in a close 1-run game as the Golden Girls win 8-7. Littlestown absolutely blows out Hanover, the girls from Snacktown, as the Smallsville girls win 15-0 over the Snacktown girls. It was Kennerdale girls over Trinity 3-2. Remember the boys lost to them earlier?
Yep.
And New Oxford over Redline 9-5. The Circletown girls picked up a good win in that game as they now are 2-2. It was Lower Dolphin over Northeastern, the Nor'easters 14-3. And the girls from Papertown put up 18 runs as Spring Grove wins by a score of 18-3 over York Suburban. Wow. Alrighty.
shellacking.
All righty, boys tennis. In our boys tennis, we have two matches that we want to talk about because both of them just outstanding matches in boys tennis this week. It was York Suburban over Susquehannock 3-2. Number one, Bryce Shore beat Dominique Dion of Susquehannock.
All right, Bryce Shorb is a freshman for Suburban,
Okay.
and he's standing at 3-0 for the season thus far, beating Ben Blum from Bethlehem Liberty and Colin Kuhn from DeLone Catholic and Patrick Corney from York Catholic, previous to hitting Susquehannock.
All right, Suburban's Jack Miller wins number 2 match. In number 3, Susquehannock's William Calks wins that match 6-2, 6-2. And Suburban wins the first doubles match with Leo Gaskin and Cole Eckenroth. And Susquehannock won the second doubles match with Carter Barrett and Aiden Turk. Suburban now 3-1, Susquehannock 2-1 early in the season. Good matches, right? That's a
Absolutely.
good match. Alrighty, also the Stangs, the Southwestern Mustangs. They are now, they win over West York, the Dogtown boys, by a match score of 4-1. Compton Speck of Southwestern defeated Ryan Steele of West York 7-5. Lost the second one 1-6, and then blanked it 6-0 to win that first singles match.
All right, and Compton Speck's only a sophomore for the Mustangs. He participates in cross country, but in tennis, he's already 5-0 now after defeating the number one from Northeastern, Littlestown, Gettysburg, and Hanover.
Alrighty, Southwestern 5-0 in boys tennis right now. Wade Heffron won the second singles match. Stephen Steele of West York took the singles match number 3. And then in doubles, Southwestern won both those matches with Patrick Cavendish and Elliot Piet. And then Zach Friel and Joe Crasium won both those double matches for Southwestern. West York, that was their first loss of the season. That's why I wanted to talk about that match, because both those teams were 4-0 coming into that match. Southwestern wins 4-1. Good stuff, right?
All right, and another high school boys tennis, Dallastown beats Lancaster Country Day 4-1. Dallastown's now 4-2 overall for the season after losing to Unionville 3-2. Northeastern beats Elizabethtown with 3-2. Northeastern is sitting at 1-3 overall. Southwestern, as Wayne said, is now 5-0, where West York is 4-1. York Suburban is at 3-1 after defeating Susquehannock now 3-2. In the Go Long Girls Lacrosse Game of the Week, the Eastern York Golden Knights hit the road jack and doubled up Berks League's Daniel Boone by a score of 16-8. For the Golden Girls, sophomore Victoria Burke led the goal parade by finding the back of the net 7 times. Eastern's Maya Thomas had 3 goals, and Gracie Huffman and Neela Malloy each had a pair of goals for the Knights.
That was one of my favorite all-time shows as a kid, was Daniel Boone. You ever watch that show?
I never watched Daniel
Boone. Was a man, yes, a big man. All right, other scores from Friday. It was Central York 16 over West York 9. Kennerdale over Dover by a score of 18-3. New Oxford over Redline 17-8. That's a good win for the Circletown girls as they improve to 2-0. The Stangs of Southwestern blanked the Papertown girls. Southwestern 15, Spring Grove 0. They're now 1-0. And a really good win for the girls from the Rock as the Susquehannock Warriors win over a very, very good York Catholic Lady Irish team in a close match in girls lacrosse. Score was 12-11. Give that win to the Susquehannock Warriors. And then the York Suburban Trojans are 1-0 as they just absolutely tattoo Eastern York, the Golden Girls, by a score of 22-8.
In the Go Long Boys Lacrosse Game of the Week, the boys from the Rock, paper scissors, the Susquehannock Warriors papered the Redland Patriots with a 19-1 win. For the Warriors, sophomore Jacob Burns netted 6 goals and handed out a pair of assists. Senior Grant Johns peppered the net 4 times in the win. Brady Parks had a day in the office as he held off, and the net, he saved 10 of Redland's 11 shots on goal. Pretty good.
That's a good save you had there also. All right,
yeah,
other scores
absolutely.
from Friday. Boys lacrosse, the Wild Things over DeLone Catholic as Dallastown wins over the McSherrystown boys 19-3, the second win of the season for the Wild Things. It was the Kennerdale Rams, the Fawn Grove boys over Dover 14-3. Eastern York over the Suburbanites. York Suburban by a score of 13-2. Good win for the Golden Boys. It was New Oxford. They picked up their first win with a win over Redline, 19-10. These are boys lacrosse scores. And Susquehannock picked up their second win of the season in another close match as they win by 2, 9-7 over the Fighting Irish of York Catholic. And then in an Aunt Nellie type of game, the Central York Panthers 20 to the Dogtown Boys of West York 0 in boys lacrosse. Becky B, we chatted a little bit about bowling, opening up the game, but tell us a little bit about this championship match here.
Oh, I sure will. In Pennsylvania, there are 178 schools that participate in bowling. Now, District 3 has the most of them, 48 out of them, the highest percentage of participating districts. Every single participating school is in the same classification. So, like, for example, in basketball, there are 722 schools that participate, but there are 6 classifications. So 127 schools, which happens to be in the 6A classification, is the largest number of schools that participate against each other in any classification. But last weekend, York Tech competed at Bolero in Pittsburgh for the Pennsylvania State High School Championships. After finishing the regular York Adams season in 3rd place with a 10-4 record, the Spartans went on an amazing tear and finished in 3rd in the Eastern Regionals and then in 4th place in the states. That's 4th out of 178 teams.
Well done.
Saturday, the top 20 qualifying teams in the state participated to determine the top 4 teams who would advance to the stepladder finals of the state. York Tech qualified in 4th place with a score of 3,820 pins. In the Baker-style game, that's where each of the 5 members of the team bowl 2 frames, York Tech faced 3rd-ranked Pennsbury. Pennsbury won the first game, 191-167. In the next game, the teams ended the game tied at 163. The tiebreaker was a 5-frame Baker-style tiebreaker, and unfortunately, Pennsbury eliminated the Spartans there 108-95. Special congratulations also go to the Spartan sophomore sensation Aliyah Hall, who averaged 189 to finish 8th in the individual girls championships with a total of 1,156 pins. Aliyah won gold previously in the Eastern Regionals competition, so congratulations to all those Spartans on an outstanding performance.
We'll talk to Coach Schaff in just a little bit. I think he's going to help my bowling game. In the Go Long Boys track and field meet of the week, the DeLone Catholic Squires picked up a slim win over the Bermudian Springs Eagles, 78-68. Braden Smith and John Paul Groves led the McSherrystown boys with a pair of wins each. Smith with wins in the 100 and the 200, and Groves winning the triple jump and the pole vault. For Bermudian, Cameron Hackman was a double winner within shot put and discus.
All right, and the results of Wednesday meets: DeLone Catholic over Bermudian Springs by a 10 spot, 78-68, and also then Eastern York lost to Kennerdale 91, Eastern York 58. In Thursday's meets, Red Lion tattooed Spring Grove 114-36, and Southwestern with a convincing 113-35 win over Northeastern. In the Go Long Girls track and field meet of the week, the Bermudian Springs Eagles downed the DeLone Catholic Squirettes 92-52 as phenom Lily Carlson took gold in the 100 hurdles, the 100, and the 200. Still for Bermudian, Elaine Cook captured gold in the shot put and the discus. Marley Rudolph took first place in the triple jump and the long jump.
All right, everybody. All you sports fans out there, lean your ear this way just a little bit. Lily Carlson from Bermudian is truly one of the most outstanding athletes in the York Adams League in central Pennsylvania. Let's tell you a little bit about her. Lily Carlson from Bermudian Springs. Well, she's a 2-time defending state champion in the pole vault.
Yep, and she's only a junior, so she won the first 2 years.
She's owner of 4 school records at Bermudian Springs High School. She's owner of the District 3 record in pole vault. She's a New Balance national champion in the pole vault. She's ranked in the top 10 in high school pole vaulters in last year. And, here in early November, Lily signed an official letter of intent to continue her education and her track and field, her pole vaulting career at Texas A&M. And If you don't know, Texas A&M is one of a true track and field powerhouses in the
Yep.
in the NCAA. So I'm telling you, you're going to hear a lot about Lily Carlson, Bermudian Springs. What a tremendous young athlete, right?
Absolutely
Tremendous.
is.
All right, the other scores in track and field girls action Wednesday is Bermudian over DeLone, 92-52. It was Kennedale Wednesday. It was Eastern York over Kennedale by a score of 97-53. Then on Thursday, the Red Line over the Papertown girls, 117-31, and Southwestern over Northeastern by a score of 104-46. Already in the Go Long Boys volleyball match of the week, it was West York on Monday over Garden Spot. The Dogtown boys win 3-2 in a hard-fought match. The first one, 25-21, game one. Then they lost game two, 25-18. They won game three, 25-17. Do you get the sense of this seesaw action?
Back and forth.
Garden Spot won game four, 25-22. And then in game five, West York wins 15-12 to win that match. How about that?
You know what? It's the odds and evens, and the West York won the odd games, so they won 3 of them.
Yes, they did. Kenora Wigginton for West York, for the Dogtown boys, had 27 assists.
Wow.
14 digs. Donovan Justin with 8 kills, 15 assists. Donovan Reber with 10 digs, 6 kills. Eddie Laurenti Roots with 19 digs as West York wins that really hard-fought, contested match. Isn't that great?
That's amazing. Yep.
Hey, this is the Go Long scoreboard. You know, a couple other things we want to mention. We've talked with Braden Long, right?
Yes,
new Oxford
we have.
player for just a couple weeks ago, right?
Right. He plays at Slippery Rock now, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Recently named, you ready for this?
Yes.
The top scholar athlete in Division II. Academic All-American. The top. How about that? So congratulations to Braden Long. Another new Oxford guy. If you're watching, go ahead.
Now wait. Not only that, he was also named the first team quarterback on the Academic All-American team.
Oh, true. I mean, you
Yeah.
can go on and on and on, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. So, also, if you're watching the NCAA tournament, which many of us are, right, if we're sports fans, another new Oxford athlete, Thomas Hall. He's a sophomore, 6'9" forward for the Florida Gators. Well, Florida, on Friday, beat Norfolk State they blew them out, 95-69. Hall, in his night at the office, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 block shots, 1 steal. He had 13 points, did Thomas Hall. So
not a bad day at the office.
If you want to see this new Oxford player today, they're going to match up with UConn. How about that? I think it's a 12-10 tip. So that'll be fun to watch as well. So lots of these NCAA, it's just amazing to see some of the success of these people as well, right, Becky B?
It sure is.
Alrighty, there's one more I want to talk about here, and that's in Division. There's actually 2 more. Moving on to baseball, Division II, York Suburban. Zian Corn, I don't know if you remember him. He was PSAC West Pitcher of the Week last week. How about that? And then from Eastern York, Bren Taylor moved, also in the PSAC, moved into second place in career hits at Millersville University. How about that?
Wow.
So well done. The first place hit is a guy by the name of Chaz McCormick, who played for the Houston Astros. So he's moving up that list pretty daggone well. So,
all right. Well, I want to talk about Levi Haynes.
Okay.
All right, because the Penn State. Here we go again, Penn State.
Yep.
All right, go Lions. They are the national champions in wrestling again this year. And Levi Haynes from Biglerville ended up a third-place finisher for the whole country. He was a Penn State wrestler at the 174-pound weight. He's just a junior. He went 5-1 in the National Wrestling Championships with a pin and a major takedown to take third place.
Congratulations. Mm-hmm. How about these York Adam athletes on the national stage?
You know what?
Incredible, isn't it?
It is incredible.
Yep.
They do some good things, don't they?
Yep. You know, friends, it's time to go long. Today our topic, what does the Bible say about naysayers? Have you ever faced that in your life when somebody told you couldn't do something? Somebody told you you're no good, you're not smart enough, you're not quick enough, you're not, I don't know what else it could be, right?
Yeah, it kind of gets my hackles rearing up, I guess, when somebody tells me that. I just have to go and prove them wrong.
What is your hackle?
I don't know.
What is a hackle?
Gets me ticked off. How's that?
I'm going to try that, just see what a hackle is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, and everybody reacts differently, right? I mean, I guess it depends who it comes from, too. If it comes from somebody close, sometimes it just hurts.
Yeah, that's true.
And, we've all faced it. People, whether it's, I don't know, I don't know if many teachers, but every now and then a teacher may, just say you can't do it or whatever. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't try to do it because you're no good or whatever. And coaches sometimes, and even loved ones, even parents and other people you're close to, every now and then just are naysayers, right? They just tell us.
Yep.
They just tell us you can't do it, or they don't believe in you, or they don't trust you, and that oftentimes creates just a feeling that maybe I can't do it. You start questioning yourself, and
especially if you're already down, to have somebody say something like that can just squash your ego.
Yeah, it does. But then again, this week, as I talked about earlier, watching interviews where repeatedly players and coaches said, you know what, they didn't think we could do it. At the start of the season, they didn't pick us to do it. They didn't think we'd be here. They didn't think we were good enough to be here. And for some, and sometimes I think for all of us, just like you said, it gets up your, whatever that thing was.
Your crawl.
Gets up your crawl, but it's sometimes it can be a motivator as well. And I think that's our challenge for all of us, right? When we face naysayers, and my friends, I'm telling you, you will. You will. If you are in sports long enough, if you are in life, you will face naysayers. How can we take that and make it motivate us to work harder, to try better, to maybe be the example Jesus was, right? To offer the other cheek, right? Turn the other cheek. Say, all right, tell me something else. Give me something else that I can't do, right?
Right.
Can it motivate us? So here's just a couple verses from the Bible. This one is the most powerful one. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 25. Listen carefully. The fear of human opinion disables. Trusting in God protects you from that. How about that? That does tell us, right?
Absolutely.
Human opinions of others, sometimes just break us down. They disable us. I mean, it's like having a flat tire on the side of the road, right? Mm-hmm. And the only way, I'm telling you, that you can consistently beat that is exactly what the book of Proverbs tells us. You ready? By trusting in God. Now, that trust doesn't mean we're not going to have naysayers, right?
No, and it doesn't mean we're not going to have hard times.
No.
But what it does mean is God's always going to be there for you. He's always got your back.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So let me read that again, my friends, and write it down, stick it in your wallet, stick it in your pocket, write it on your forehead. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 25. The fear of human opinion disables. Trusting in God protects you from that. My friends, when you have naysayers, and you will, and you do, when people get after you, when people attack you, when people don't believe in you, the only thing, it is disabling. It is heartbreaking. The only thing that can protect us from that is our trust in God. And that trust protects us. It protects us. It's a shield. It is a shield that comes up, and it protects us because we know what's most important, right? Mm-hmm. What is most important? It is that faith and love and example of Jesus Christ our Lord. From the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 28. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body. Don't be afraid of them, but are unable to kill the soul, right? Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both body and soul in hell. Who is that one, Becky B? Who is that one? Be afraid of the one who can destroy both body and soul.
That's our God.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. And every now and then you hear people say fear of God, right?
Fear means respect of God.
I think so. Yeah, but that's the one that we need to be concerned about, right? We need to be concerned about our relationship with God, not about those who have the ability to kill our soul. From 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 14, bless. This is what we should be doing. Bless and do not curse. Now that's a simple 5-word lesson right there.
Yes.
That we could talk about for a month and a half. Bless and do not curse. bless and do not curse. I'm going to say it one more time.
Go ahead and say it one more time.
Let's bless and do not curse. Let's encourage. Let's build up people. Let's be blessing life to others, right?
Absolutely.
And not be naysayers to other people.
You know, God calls us to lift up and to be a beacon for Him in our world. And, you know, the ability to share love as God shows love to us every day.
Yep, absolutely. All right, my friends, let's do that. Let's be people that uplift others and not the naysayers. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the splendid Spartan himself, Scott Geist with the York College Spartan Sports Spotlight. Right after this message from our sponsors, Red Barn Home Decor is where home staging makes dollars and cents.
Dale Henry here. Attention all home sellers. Are you ready to win in the real estate game? At Red Barn Home Decors, we know that staging your home is like crafting the perfect game plan. It leads to quicker sales and higher offers.
And this is Kelsey McCullough, your home staging design professional. I'm ready to customize a winning strategy for your home. Whether it's a vacant property needing a full transformation or an occupied stage for that finishing touch, Red Barn Home Decors has the playbook for success. Staged homes sell faster and for more money. Now that's a winning strategy.
So Kelsey, what is your home staging strategy?
Every home is custom. We begin by coming to your home and meeting you. Then we customize a strategy to make it market ready. We head back to the warehouse and pull furniture, art, and decor to prepare for staging day.
So don't fumble your sale. Invest in home staging and see why staging makes dollars and cents. Check out our portfolio at redbarnhomedecors.com or call or text Kelsey at 717-818-1207.
It's almost time. The York Revolution roster is being built for the upcoming season. And right here is where you get the news first.
Revs Hot Stove Weekly, presented by Shipley Energy, with Darrell Henry and Revs manager Rick Forney.
The latest player signings, plus interviews live on the show each week.
Do people listen to this? There are a lot of people that listen to this. How do you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, I know... I don't know.
Revs Hot Stove Weekly, presented by Shipley Energy.
Monday at 6 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK. It's deep! It is goal! Hit your own homer and welcome a York Revolution player into your home this summer. The Revs are looking for player host families. Get an inside look at the life of a pro ball player, plus loads of benefits, including admission to all home games, a $250 concessions gift card, and much more. Host families are critical to putting a championship team on the field. Help us bring another championship to York by hosting a Revs player this season. Email Josh Santora at jsantora@yorkrevolution.com and join our team today.
And welcome back to Go Long. I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B. And as promised, the splendid Spartan himself, Scott Geist with the York College Spartan Sports Spotlight. Scott, thank you so much for being with us. I know you have a hoarse voice. What a week of baseball that you're just been calling one inning after another.
We do. We had a lot of baseball in the last week, and yesterday around the 7th or 8th inning, it started to give out again, and I'm like, wait a second, I got to talk to Wayne on Sunday. How am I going to be able to do this? So, no, thanks for having me on.
Yep, thank you. If anybody can do it, Scott Geist can do it, the splendid Spartan. Scott, let's wrap up. What I would consider just a tremendous, highly successful men's basketball season continues with an All-American naming. Let's wrap it up. Tell us about it.
Sure. No, it was awesome. I'm not sure in the last 2 weeks of the season, we got to experience something that we did for the first time, winning a MAC conference tournament, but more important, playing in front of a very full Wolf Gymnasium. The crowds were unbelievable. We got to host the first and second round NCAA tournament weekend. It was great. We lost to NYU. NYU ended up finishing second in the country. They lost in the national championship game yesterday, but it was just amazing to have the community support we did and have people come out. We had so many alums that came out to watch over those 2 weeks, and it was just an awesome run. It was just so much fun and such a wonderful group of guys to do it with. It was pretty incredible. And Kai got named second team NABC All-American. He was the Region 5 Player of the Year for D3 Hoops, and then he was on their fourth team All-American. But just simply an awesome couple week period where the basketball program really got highlighted, and it was just so much fun. Cut down the nets at your own place for a conference championship, and then get to host. It was pretty awesome.
You know, there's so many things you could say about this team, but I think they were the grittiest team I have ever seen. I mean, they just came to play.
Incredibly tough, and a group of guys that just played so well together. You could see the level of unselfishness with the way we played. You know, we would pass up a good shot and get a great shot with an extra pass, and you know, guys just played so hard. I'll tell you, there was a time against John Carroll in the second half where Kai goes diving to the floor to save possession. When your best player makes plays like that, you know that you have a really good team, and you know, he was so much fun to watch, but so were all our seniors. You know, we were 9 points away from having 4,000-point scores on that team, because Jalen Rowe ended the season at 991 points. Now he'll be back next year to get that 1,000, but to think about that to have 4 guys that scored over 1,000 points in their career, that's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, you know, and one more thing, congratulations to Coach Hunter, right? Matt Hunter. You often say, you know, really good teams take on kind of the mental toughness of their coach, and you know, that's Matt Hunter in his description, right?
Oh, there's no question, and I think that is, you know, when you are a part of this program, I've always said, you know, he asks a lot of those guys, and he demands a lot of those guys, but he truly loves his players. He has their back, and I think when guys know that their coach has their back and is willing to fight for him, they're willing to fight for him, and I think that makes a huge difference, and you see it in how we play. Yeah, he does. Hey, does he ask a lot of our guys? He certainly does, but he also is able. He gives a lot to our guys too. I mean, he gives everything he has to the program, and you know, he's got a great staff with him, and they just do an amazing job.
All right, now Coach Betsy Whitman just announced her retirement, and you know, that's an icon in the coaching world and here in York after an outstanding performances in Hanover, and then coaching so well and having such an outstanding record at York for years and years. That's big shoes to fill.
There's no doubt about that, and she wasn't supposed to leave till I left. So that's been my next door neighbor in the office suite for so many years. I mean, she's been there for all but my first year at York. We've been together, so it's gonna be a little odd next year. It's gonna be a little strange, but for her, this was the time. The time was right. She goes, I still enjoy the coaching part, but some of the other stuff is tough, and the recruiting. She has a son who's starting to get into stuff, and it's hard to be able to be a coach and do all the things you want to do with your children. So I think this was the right time for her. I think she lost her dad in the fall, which was a big deal. I mean, Ron was at everything. He was at all of our games, and as he got older, it got a little bit more tough. But to lose him, I think, was really a big thing for her. Her mom is getting older, and she wants to be able to to spend time with her mom and care for her as well. So I think it was just the right time. We're really excited about having Katie take over the position, and she's got huge shoes to fill, and she knows that better than anybody. But to have Betsy for as long as we did, we were certainly very blessed, and certainly she's going to be missed. But she's going to be, like she said, she goes, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be around. I'm just not going to be, you're not going to probably see me every day. So, I think when it comes to that, she had made the decision, I think, earlier in the year, and then just there are times when you get sick of doing some of the things that you have to do, and I think the recruiting thing was not as enjoyable anymore when you have to be gone to watch tournaments or weekends, or it's harder. So I think this was the right decision for her, and we're certainly happy for her. We're going to miss the heck out of her, but her legacy at York is one that's pretty much cemented in. So she was incredible.
Well, our mission here on Go Long, as you know, Scott, is to celebrate the accomplishments of our local sports figures, and today we're going to celebrate the coaching career of Betsy Whitman and what she's brought to not only York College and all the women that had the opportunity to play for her, but what she's brought to the entire community of York College and all of Central Pennsylvania. Today on Go Long, we celebrate the career of Betsy Whitman. Well done, Coach Whitman. Well done.
Yes,
Yep.
100%.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the spring sports, and you're calling these double headers with Daryl Henry here on WOYK, and that's one of the reasons you got a lost voice today. But let's kick it off and tell us a little bit about the men on the 90-foot diamond.
All right, so they are 9-9 right now. We've kind of had a little bit of an uneven year. We've played some really good teams. The teams we've have lost to in terms of the non-conference have a really, really good record. We started the season with playing number 9 Lynchburg. We played Rutgers Camden, who was receiving votes. Number 13 Penn State Harrisburg, number 15 Misericordia. But now we're back in. We're kind of settled into more conference play. We had a conference doubleheader yesterday and split that doubleheader, but took 2 of 3 in the series. So the MAC Commonwealth, well, the MAC Freedom too, but the MAC plays 3-game series. So you play Friday at one site, and then you play a doubleheader at the other site on Saturday. So we're 5-1 in the league right now, which is a really good start. We're a game back in Messiah, who's 6-0, but we're in pretty good shape in terms of our ability within conference play to set ourselves up. So we'll still play non-conference games during the week, but that's starting to lessen during, once we've kind of entered conference play, which we have now. And really the season's almost halfway over. It's not quite there yet, but we're getting to that point. I mean, heck, next week's April 1st, which is hard to believe. Not this week, but next week. So, which is hard to believe already because it seems like we just started. But it has been a busy, busy year, and we've had some really good performances so far. We've seen senior Michael Tinnity has had a hit in all 18 games and is hitting like .448, and he's gotten off to a great start. And we're starting to hit the ball a little bit better. The key for us is we got to pitch and we got to play defense. When we don't walk guys and we make guys put the ball in play, we're pretty good. But we've kind of struggled at that at times, and especially in the midweek. You have your weekend starters, and those guys are your rock stars per se. So to have them on the weekend, you're going to be in good shape for that. But we've gotten some really good performance on the weekdays. We've gotten some not so good performance on the weekdays. So it's kind of a little bit of a crapshoot. But the less games you play during the week, the better off you are. And we're starting to slow down in terms of those midweek games. So I think it's a beneficial thing for us.
And tell us about your softball team this year.
Softball's gotten off to a little bit of a slow start. They went to Texas. They went to CNU in Texas, played a 10-game series and went 2-8. So our record does not look great. We're 5-11 right now, so it doesn't look good. 5-11. But I really like this team. I think we got a returning All-American in Emma Wade. We have a returning first-team All-Region player in Gretchen Barstad, and those two have gotten off to a really good start. It was a little slow going in Texas, but once they've come back up here, Emma has caught fire and is hitting bombs all over the place. She actually led the country in RBIs last year. She had 76 RBIs last year. Yeah, unbelievable. You couldn't ask for a better kid. Has really just one of the leaders on the team, and she's just such a great kid. And so we'll be okay. We're getting ready to start getting in conference play. Now softball, they just play doubleheaders. They play one doubleheader as your conference against the conference opponent. So there's a little bit less games, but they'll play, and they play a lot more. Softball pitching is different. You can use the same kid.
Yeah. I learned the hard way.
Oh yes, he did learn the hard way on that one.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I see pitch totals for softball, and it's like 150 and 141, and it's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What in the world? And we had a kid throw 189 pitches last year in a game. 189 pitches.
Isn't that amazing?
And then go out and pitch game 2, huh?
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah. No, real quick, Scott, I got to tell you the story. So I was an interim softball coach at Monmouth one early season, and we had an ace who shut out Rock Island. And so anyway, I pitched somebody different in the second game, and we lost. And all the women on the way back were mad at me. I could tell they were mad at me. I said, "What's wrong?" They said, "Well, your starting pitcher of the first game pitches every game." I'm thinking, what?
You're like, what are you talking about?
Right? How could that be? Right?
That's not how this works. No, she needs like 4 days rest until she goes again.
That's what I was thinking.
No, she doesn't even need 4 hours rest.
Right.
It's like, she's fine. Let's go. No, and that's the one thing about softball. It's kind of, I mean, there's a lot of differences, obviously, between baseball and softball. But the pitching is really, well, you know, you have a 4, like this year we have a 4-pitcher staff. 4.
Yeah.
Whoa,
baseball,
that's amazing.
Baseball, there's like 25.
Right.
And it's like insane.
Right.
So yeah, you just see that, and that's one of the big differences. And so we're going to be fine. I just think that the start is not great. You know, to go down to Texas and go 2-8 was not great. Now we played some really good teams, but we also had some situations where we kind of let some stuff slip away, and that record very easily probably could have been 4-6, maybe 5-5, but just not able to get it done. And this team is, when you go out and you haven't been outside and you go start playing games right away, that's tough. And that's part of being up here in the north. That's just part of the way things go. So, they were able to kind of get going. And I think we're going to start playing a bunch of games here in a row, or like more than, 2 doubleheaders a week, and then you kind of get some momentum and you get going. It's almost the opposite of baseball. Baseball is winding down the midweek games. Yeah. Softball is just starting to crank them up. So, we're going to have a lot of softball games left in this season.
Yep. Now listen, we're starting to run out of time a little bit, so we're going to have to talk more spring sports in a little bit with you, Scott, on another day. But most importantly, opening day this Thursday.
So excited.
Excited. Your Cleveland team, I think, keeps getting better. Tell me your thought.
I love my guys.
Yeah.
They didn't do a ton in the offseason, but I think with the youth on that team, they've done enough. They re-signed their ace yesterday to a 5-year extension in Tanner Bybee. Super excited about that. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Shane and I got to go to a playoff game last year in Cleveland. It was awesome. They lost, of course, the one game they lose to Detroit. One of the games they lost to Detroit in the series, they lost. But we got to go see a playoff game in Cleveland, and the atmosphere was unbelievable. It was so much fun. So baseball season is the best time of year for me.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. This month, this time of year, with the NCAA tournament going on, our spring sports going on, and baseball getting ready to start, and the Masters right around the corner, I'm not sure there's a better sports time in America than what we're experiencing in this next couple of weeks. So,
I'm with you.
No, I'm excited. They start off at Kansas City and then go to the West Coast, but hoping to be able to get out to Cleveland this year and catch a couple games. And it's such a great ballpark. They've done so many renovations.
Yes.
It's just a lot of fun. So I'm excited.
I didn't tell you, Becky B and I went there last year for a game, and Becky,
we
I'll let her
had the
tell
best corned beef sandwich in the world.
All right, now
there you go.
And
There you go.
hold on, and she'll tell you the most unusual ballpark food. Go ahead, Becky B.
Yeah, they had all kinds of things with cereal attached to it.
Yeah, it was a hot dog with
It was
Fruit
a
Loops.
hot dog with Fruit Loops on it, and they had other cereal stuff too. Just crazy. I know we're in the Midwest, but I mean, you don't put cereal on everything.
No, I wouldn't either. But they've done a really good job of like varying. They've made a ton of standing room only seats.
Yeah.
They actually have a deal that for $49 you can come to every game that month and have a standing room only ticket. And there's like four standing room only areas in the ballpark, and they're all great views.
Yep.
So they've done a really good job of doing stuff like that. And if I lived in the area, I would be plopping down $49 to be able to go to ball games.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure wifey would be very happy about that.
That's all right. You got to take one for the team now and then. All right. Hey, guys, the splendid Spartan himself, Scott Geis. Scott, we just show once and again that we could talk for hours. We appreciate it. We'll get you back on soon. We appreciate it. Today we celebrate Scott Geis, all you've brought to Central Pennsylvania. Scott, God bless you. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a great week.
All righty, my friends. We're going to take a short break here from our sponsor, Red Barn Home Decors. And when we come back, we'll have coach of the York Tech Spartans, number 4 in the state in bowling. We'll be right back after this message.
Daryl Henry here. Attention all home sellers. Are you ready to win in the real estate game? At Red Barn Home Decors, we know that staging your home is like crafting the perfect game plan. It leads to quicker sales and higher offers.
And this is Kelsey McCullough, your home staging design professional. I'm ready to customize a winning strategy for your home. Whether it's a vacant property needing a full transformation or an occupied stage for that finishing touch, Red Barn Home Decors has the playbook for success. Staged homes sell faster and for more money. Now that's a winning strategy.
So Kelsey, what is your home staging strategy?
Every home is custom. We begin by coming to your home and meeting you. Then we customize a strategy to make it market ready. We head back to the warehouse and pull furniture, art, and decor to prepare for staging day.
So don't fumble your sale. Invest in home staging and see why staging makes dollars and cents. Check out our portfolio at redbarnhomedecors.com or call or text Kelsey at 717-818-1207.
And welcome back to Go Long. I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B. Oh my gosh, we're going to go to the York Tech Spartans. How about this bowling team? Their head coach, Zach Schaff. Coach, first of all, tell us about your team and congratulations on a great season.
Well, thanks for having me. Yes, it's been a great ride this year. My varsity team is made up of 4 seniors this year and 1 sophomore. There's also 10 plus others on the team that are continuing to get better in the sport. Everyone on varsity, which is a two-hander, which is a very popular way to release the ball nowadays. But between this year and last year, we're still one of the only teams that have a full varsity team made up of all two-handers. And they certainly put on the show this year.
Well, they certainly did. Now, Coach, I was just kind of doing a little bit of research. I think you are the only sport in the entire state where everybody in the state is in the same classification. You bowled against 174 other opponents, and to be 4th out of 174, that's just amazing to me.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And to look at that, District 3 has the most bowling teams. You ended up in a very tough York Adams League, ended up 3rd in the league, but then just took off from there. What's the difference here? What's the magic soup that you have, ending up then at the top of regionals or 3rd in regionals and then heading on to the state?
Yes, that's a tough question here. The magic behind all this, but yeah, we have a very tough league in the York Adams. Very talented bowlers, talented coaches as well. I think the biggest thing is we started this year off with like high expectations. We set the bar extremely high. We want to be the best. We want to be the best of the best. We started off with winning the Icebreaker Classic at the beginning of the season, which is huge. To get that win was a big confidence booster for the rest of the season. And then we just didn't stop there. So we continued with going to regionals, getting a big chance there to finish 4th there as well, competing against some of the best teams around, like you said, and then just moving on to states. And like I said, we just keep continuing to get better. Some of our leaders on the team, like Cameron Taylor, leading the way pretty much this entire year with a 217 average for us. He ended up coming up big in the All-Star team event for regionals and at states. He was one of the top bowlers. And then also Aaliyah Hall, another big-time bowler on our team that's a sophomore this year. She was the leader All-Star team both in regionals and state, and she ended up winning the regional Eastern PBA Challenge. So she, like I said, we just keep improving. We don't let anything discourage us. So even us finishing 3rd in a very tough league, I think the record speaks for itself. Like I said, going out here, competing on these tougher shots, competing against some of the tough bowlers around. Like I said, Pennsylvania is a very tough state to compete in. And like I said, finishing 4th, couldn't have been more proud of this team.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Coach, we're proud of you. Well done. I know you're a York Tech graduate as well, so it's got to mean a lot to you, being able to coach this team and what you've done with them. Tell me a little bit about this two-hand bowling technique. I'm still the old guy that sticks the fingers in the ball and rolls 100 if I'm lucky. Tell me about it. I mean, how do you teach it? How do you do it? I mean, what makes it effective?
So yes, I'm the same way. I'm a one-hander. But yes, all these two-handers, it became extremely popular when a professional bowler, Jason Balmani, kind of brought it from Australia. Everyone was kind of skeptical about it. Hey, that's not how you traditionally bowl, but two-handing took off dramatically quick. And how it took off is because the benefit of two-handing is the power, the rotation you get on the ball. You create a lot more pin action when you two-hand, and that's what the kids want to see nowadays, especially because it's easier to get that pin action. It's easier to get those bigger games, higher speeds, higher revolutions on the ball. So it definitely has changed the game. Like I said, talking about some of the pin action these kids have, it's incredible. Like, I have kids on my team that are throwing the ball 18 mile an hour, putting on about 400 to 500 RPMs on the ball. Wow. So when they hit the pins just scatter. And so it really has been a pretty big game changer, and it's starting to get more popular year after year.
Absolutely incredible. Well, today on Go Long, Coach, we celebrate you, what you've done for the sport of bowling locally, what you've done for the York Tech community, for all the student athletes you work with. Tell us about yourself, the love you have for the sport of bowling, and where that came from, Coach.
Yes, it's kind of funny. No one in our family realistically bowled when I first got into it. It was just my grandfather. And when I was getting ready to become a freshman at York County School of Technology back in 2008, they had a bowling team. He said, "Why not try out, just see how you do?" And I was like, all right, yeah, sure. So I tried out. I was skeptical. I think my first year I averaged like a 138. But I found the love for it immediately. It didn't take long, and I ended up bowling all 4 years. Once my brother joined, he bowled all 4 years. And then my sister was at Tech, and she bowled her first 2 years, and their head coach was leaving, and they weren't going to have a coach to coach the team. So I ended up coming back and taking over. I said she needs to experience her last 2 years like I got the chance to, like my brother got the chance to. And then I said after that I'm done, and I just couldn't. I fell in love with the coaching as well. Yeah, I said I was going to be done after 2 years. Here I am going on my coming up season. Here will be my 12th season with the team, and I just love coaching it. Love being a part of the bowling team, seeing these student athletes grow and keep continuing to get better in the sport and fall in love with the same way I did. It's a sport that I feel you could do forever.
Well done. And today our Go Long topic, Coach, real quick as we end was how you beat naysayers. Did anyone ever tell you couldn't do it and then you just went out and did it anyway?
It's yes, exactly that. And I've been told that all my life, and like I said, it seems like a lot of people doubt York County School of Technology. Like I said, obviously they're not known for their sports. We've been coming around a lot more, yes. And in all of our sports, baseball, basketball, softball, volleyball, but bowling's really taken off over the last couple years, and people say it multiple times that I don't think you guys are going to have the kids capable of doing it. I said we'll let the records talk here towards the end of the season, and I think they certainly did. And I keep telling the kids, it's not about what we finished with. I always tell them every match, one shot, one frame, one game. If you focus on that, execute your shots, and keep doing what you know you could do best, then the record will speak for itself at the end, and I think it definitely showed it. So the kids had great confidence this year. We believed in our team. I believed in the team, and it definitely showed. Absolutely. Well, today, Coach, we're going to celebrate you and the York Tech Spartans. Coach Schaff and the York Tech Spartans, 4th in the state tournament in bowling. Well done, Coach. Well done, well done. We're proud of you. We're happy for you. Keep up the good work, Coach. Thank you for being with us. Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend. All righty, you too. All righty, Becky B. Isn't that great stuff? That is amazing. That's great stuff. Yep. Real quick, before Becky B will close in prayer, she does every Sunday. I want to thank all of you for being with us today and every Sunday morning. It means so much to us. Also, today, 1 o'clock, senior girls basketball all-star game at York College, immediately followed by the boys senior all-star game. I'm going to get out to that. I hope all of you can see those senior basketball. What did I say? Yeah. You just said senior all-star game. Senior all-star basketball game. Yep. Get out there as well. So, Becky B, would you please close in prayer? Oh, dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you and praise you for this beautiful spring day, and we just thank you and praise you for always having our back and never being a naysayer, giving us the strength to carry on through everything, Lord. We just ask your healing touch, please, on Bonnie and on Jan and Luke as they've gone through some surgeries and as they await surgeries, and be with Heather as she faces her surgery tomorrow. We just thank you for the many blessings you give us each and every day, Lord, and thank you for always being with us and having our back. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Becky B. And again, thank you so much, everybody, for being with us. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 25. The fear of human opinion disables. Trusting in God protects you from that. My friends, that's our prayer for you today, that you trust in our Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior, in everything that you do.
So, my friends, the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Thank you to Kelsey Jean from Red Barn Home Decors, where home staging makes dollars and cents. For Sports Radio 98.9 FM, 1350 WOYK. First in York and first in sports. This is Wayne McCullough and Becky B. Until next Sunday, saying, go long.